Mm, 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 mm. Okay. Um, this live stream is for Amazonians. Okay. So every Friday, 8 o'clock, if you have math problems, if you are a Amazon employee, work for one of the subsidiaries, I'm offering a free live stream every week, 1 hour, 8 to 9 o'clock. And if you have math problems, science problems, if you have problems with any of the concepts, I'm here to answer. The only thing I'd like you to do, if you come into the room, just say hello. And what fulfillment center or location you work at. And if you're preparing for a test, I prepare people for the ASVAB, SAT, math, GRE, whatever you guys are looking for. This live stream is DVRable, so even if you come in on the back end and you didn't really catch anything, I appreciate the like. I see the like. Basically, you got me for an hour. So if you have problems with fractions, if you have problems with, some people have problems with decimals, basically because they haven't done decimal division in a very, very long time. And it doesn't mean you're stupid. It just means you haven't used it. It's something called the theory of disuse. And so if you don't use it, you lose it. So here I have like tips and tricks that you can use in testing and things of that nature. So don't be shy. On the message board, I am going to enter an email. Basically, what you can do is you can take a picture with your smartphone and you can send photos of the particular questions that you may have. This is particularly what people that do in like test prep. Like, oh, I don't know how to answer this word problem. And so I'm here. It's free. You don't pay a thing. Throw your questions at me. And again, I appreciate it if you guys, seems like, okay, all right, looks like the connection stabilized. So thing about me, I love math. I love math and science, and I love tutoring it. I've been tutoring math and science. I do test prep, primarily if you look at the website, for the military, the ASVAB. So I know a lot of you guys are looking to join the military, and you may have problems passing the ASVAB. Particularly, most people have problems with math, the math, arithmetic reasoning, and math knowledge. And I'm not crazy. I have like a chart up there for all the testing areas and stuff like that. So, feel free to, like I said, I was going to send or post. All right. Okay. So if you're in a room, that is the email address where you can take photos, and you can basically, take photos, send pictures to the email, and I will execute them. So basically every week, 8 to 9, bring your toughest questions. And let's see. Let's see. All right. Now, even if, let's say you have to work and you can't attend the live stream, if you email me questions from 8 to 9, or if you email, like, just in the subject, put live stream question and Amazon live stream question, and basically I will answer the question. So who's in the room? You guys are shy. All right. And I think this is pretty much going to be the tagline: Tutoring Amazonians free live stream. So if you guys are preparing for a test, if you have questions about math, I don't care how simple it is, how simple you think it is, on this channel, nobody's going to look at you like, oh, that was a stupid question. If you don't understand a particular math concept or a math subject, then it's my function to turn the light on in the room. All right. If you want to introduce yourself to the room and just say hello, you can just say, like, for instance, EWR4, and I don't know, fractions. And I've just typed in an example. It could be division, it could be whatever you're having a math problem with. Okay. And one really cool thing, like I said, you're an Amazonian, blue badge, white badge. If you work for Amazon, and you need tutoring, you can come here every week. Just bring questions. All right. I see 3 in the room, and somebody say something. And even if somebody just, and another thing too, I'll keep this totally confidential. Like, if say for instance, some people are like, oh, I don't want anybody to know I have problems with fractions, or I have problems with math, or whatever like that. That is not going to help you, number one. But you can just say anonymous in your email, and I won't put you out there. But I did get an email. Wow. Okay. I did get an email, and the email is about fractions. Okay. So let's see. Okay. So basically, and Avery, I see you. You are welcome. You are welcome to come in as well. So basically, fractions. For all my people out there that have problems with fractions, there's a little trick I use for testing with fractions. And basically, oh, and another note, Avery, the military test prep will go on as scheduled at 9 p.m. Actually, right after this live stream. So, but feel free to jump in, because this is actually a separate live stream. But you're welcome, because you are a client of mine, and hey, I will make myself available to my clients. Okay, so fractions. First of all, let's get a dry erase marker that works. So let's say I have the fraction 1/2 plus, I don't know, 1/4. Okay. 1/2 plus 1/4. Now, the old style way is, okay, find the common denominator and go through all that. And you can do that. But for testing, it's going to take a long time. All right. Or it's going to take longer. What I suggest you do, let's do this in a different color. I want you to cross multiply. And what I mean by that is I want you to multiply 4 times 1 and put a 4 up there. We're going to raise the plus sign. This will remind you of what you need to do. And then 2 times 1, and then that's a 2. And then we will multiply the denominators directly up across. So 4 plus 2 is 6. 2 times 4 is 8. And you'll come up with the fraction 6/8. But that is not reduced to its lowest terms. So if we look at an even number up top and an even number on the bottom, they can both be divided by 2. So if we divide 6 by 2, we will get a 3. And if we divide 8 by 2, we will get a 4. And our final answer is 3/4. So to recap, cross multiply when you see this problem. 4 times 1, 2 times 1. Raise the plus sign to remind you of the operation that you're going to execute, and then multiply the denominators directly across. We came up with 4 plus 2 is 6, and 2 times 4 is 8. And it reduced to 3/4. So, although this is the answer, most tests or most instructors or teachers, they will want you to reduce the fraction to the lowest terms. Okay. So let me come back to the page. Okay. Okay, cool. Eliana, good to see you. Okay. Another one there. Okay. All right. Okay. All right, cool. Okay. So, checking the email. All right. All right. Nothing inbound yet. Okay. Now, if we're going to subtract fractions, it's going to be very, very different. It's going to be the same procedure if you are subtracting fractions. Let's say we are going to subtract 1/4 from 1/2. Let's just get rid of all of this business. All right. So we're going to subtract this time. We're going to use the same procedure. We are going to multiply 4 times 1. That is a 4. Raise our minus sign to remind us what we need to do. And then 2 times 1, which is 2. And then we're going to multiply the denominators directly across. 4 minus 2 is what, guys? 2. And 8 if we multiply the denominators. And then we will get 2 over 8. Now, this again needs to be reduced. Okay, it needs to be reduced, and basically we will come up with 1/4 as our final answer. All right, for anybody out there that is basically having problems with fractions, that's how you deal with the addition and the subtraction of fractions. Now, the cool thing about the multiplication and division of fractions is the operation winds up being the same. Okay, so just want to do one thing. We'll get into it, guys. Don't worry. Okay. Actually, sorry guys, just give me a moment. I'm getting a couple emails that I'm just going to respond to really, really quick. And, all right. Just respond to this email really, really quick, guys. Okay. Computer's moving slow. Okay, so that is sent. So now, what, you didn't send? All right, guys. Okay, so now with fractions, we are going to get into the multiplication division of fractions. Like I said, they are actually going to wind up being the same operation, and I'll show you why. Now, initially, the questions will look like this. Let's say 3/4 divided by 1/2, and multiplication 3/4 times 1/2. Okay. Well, with the multiplication of fractions, we just multiply the numerators directly across. So 3 times 1 is 3. 2 times 4 is 8, 3/8. If we're dividing, then we have to do something called multiplying by the reciprocal. So basically, this just flips over. The 2 goes upstairs, and the 1 goes downstairs. And basically, this becomes a multiplication problem, and we get 6 over 4. That can be reduced to 3 over 2, or 1 1/2. This is an improper fraction because the numerator is bigger than the denominator, but this is a mixed number because we have a whole number and we have a fraction together. All right. So that was fractions. All right. All right. Let's check out. All right. Okay. Okay. Thanks, Ileana. Okay. So basically, let's check the email. All right. So yeah, I guess a lot of you guys sent emails and you're actually working, and that's cool because the live stream will be here for you guys. All right. So moving right along. Someone is having a problem with word problems. Okay, first off, we need to look at clues. Okay, the word problem is going to give you clues, always. Okay, and what I recommend for solving word problems is you look at the word problem line by line. So you write a diagram, you read a line, you diagram, you read a line, you diagram. And there was an extremely hard one I got in another live stream that I do last week. And let me see if I can't find it. All right. So this is cool because it keeps me sharp, and mathematically it keeps me sharp because I never know what people are going to ask me in the live stream. And so I have to be very, very adept at problem solving. All right. Give me one minute. I'm just going to Google some word problems because the person that emailed was not specific. All right, word problems. All right. So I'm going to start off with a very basic word problem, and then I will do an advanced word problem. All right. And shout out to all my military test prep people out there that checked in, are sending emails and things of that nature. Always appreciate the love. Okay. I will do it next time, but normally when I reboot, everything moves a lot faster. So my apologies. Wow, this is really driving me nuts right now. Okay, it's coming. It's chewing on it. Okay, here's a very basic word problem, and I will just read it aloud, and we will just go ahead and execute. Okay, so here's the question. 331 students went on a field trip. 6 buses were filled, and 7 students traveled in cars. How many students were on each bus? Okay, so 331 students went on a field trip. 6 buses were filled, and 7 students traveled in cars. Okay, so how many students were in each bus? So basically, you might look at that and be like, oh, I don't know, you go nutty, and stuff like that. The cool thing about multiple choice questions, and why you should never ever get nervous about multiple choice questions, is because the answer is always in front of you. Okay, with the multiple choice, the answers are always in front of you. Now, when you just have a fill in the blank, then that's when you're going to have to mathematically have a sharp sword, if you would. So, Like I said, line by line, don't be afraid, because when you diagram it out, in most cases, a lot of the anxiety, when I tutor people and I give them word problems and I work with them on word problems, when I show them my line by line concept, they like, wow, it just gets easier. The more you do it, the better you're going to get at it. Okay. Nobody gets worse by practicing math. They might not understand it to begin with, and then they slowly, as they do problems, okay, it's just a process, okay. So 331 students, 331 students. These guys are going on a field trip. I don't know, Philadelphia Zoo or something like that, the Bronx Zoo in New York. All right. So we have 331 students on a field trip. We have 6 buses. You could just make little containers like this, each representing a bus, if you like. Okay. So 6 buses were filled. All these buses are filled, and 7 traveled in cars. So if 7 students traveled in cars, we're going to subtract 7. So I'll go to my side here, 331 minus 7. 7 can't be taken away from 1, so we borrow from the 3, reduce that to a 2. This becomes an 11, a 1, or a 1's added to it. We get a 4. The 2 comes down, and the 3 comes down. So 324 people are traveling in these buses. Now, I do have a rapid mental math method that I would use. Okay. If 324 people are going to be, if these guys are in cars, we've taken these guys out of the equation. So CARS, these guys are in cars. Now, 324 people are left. Okay. So I can easily say, okay, well, 300 divided by 6 is 50. I just base that on 5 times 6. Okay. Because if I was ever presented with the question 50 times 6, and you're like, oh man, that's a big number, I can't do that. Well, don't deal with that. All you do is multiply 5 by 6, which is 30, and then add that 0 later, 300. So 50 people, I'm dividing 300 by 6, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, that equals 300, and then I will divide 24 by 6. So basically what I've done is I've separated the number by 300 plus 24 and just made them 2 different numbers. They're going to add up to be the same thing. Now I'm going to divide 24 by 6, which is 4. So in each case, I'm going to have 54 students on each bus. And that is the answer. So to recap, the question was 331 students went on a field trip, 6 buses were filled, and 7 students traveled in cars. How many students were in each bus? So basically what I did was I made 6 blocks, which represent the bus load. Okay. We subtracted 7 from 331 and got 324. And then after that, we divided 324 by 6, or I separated 3 and 24. Okay, so there's a lot of rapid things that you could do during testing to just, arrive at the answers quicker. And that is one of my math methods. Let me give you another, I'm just checking the email real quick. All right. And what you could do is, if you have my email on Friday night, like if you got to work before you go to work, okay, you say you have a problem, all right, you can't attend the live stream. All right, well then Friday night, just send the question to my email. And when I get the email, I'll look at it and I'll be like, I'll put it in queue for the video. All right, provided I don't get overloaded with people in the actual live stream. All right, so I just want to show you guys some tricks. Okay. Oh, hold up. Another question. Oh, wow. This is my favorite. Radicals. Okay, radicals. I have a very, very easy and interesting method for solving radicals or simplifying radicals, because people, they see that square root sign and they go nutty, like, like, and it's really not that serious. Okay. I'm going to show you why. Okay. So let's say we have the square root of 20. All right. And people are like, square root of 20, man, I don't know what that is. That's crazy. I can't do it. Yes, you can. All right. What I do is I look at perfect squares. All right. 2 times 2 is 4. 3 times 2 is 9. 4 times 2 is 16. 5 times 2. And these numbers are being squared. So the exponent is 2 in each of these cases. And this basically means 2 times 2 when we have the little 2 up top. That is called an exponent, and this will be called the base. And that's how we handle exponent problems. All right, so 6 squared, 36, 7 squared, 49, 8 squared, 64, 9 squared, 81, and 10 squared, 10 times 10 equals 100. Okay, that is my memory aid. Okay, and after a while, when you do them so long, you'll just automatically remember, like, okay, 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9, 6 squared is 36, 7 squared is 49. It's just practice. That's all. I'm no smarter than anybody else. I do a lot of math, and so I remember little rapid tricks, So, the square root of 20, what I am looking for are factors of 20. What's a factor? A factor is a number that can be multiplied with another number to come up with the number 20. So these would be factors of 20. All right. So 1 times 20 equals 20. Now, when I'm looking for my factors, I'm looking for the right side. It's not an official term, but I call them hot numbers, because when I see them in my head, a little game show bell goes off. Ding, 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 ding. Okay. I know. It's corny. Anyway, 1 times 20 equals 20. Okay, so I'll start with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and see what works. All right. 2 times 10 equals 20. Now, as I'm looking at my factors, I'm looking at this list to see if something here is a factor of 20. Now, I already know I'm going to stop at 4. All right. But I'll check 3. 3 does not work. 4 times 5 equals 20. So 4 times 5 works. So the square root of 20, I'll lean back, is equal to the square root of 4 times the square root of 5. Okay. These are just the factors with square roots on them. Okay. And now we go back to our memory aid, and we have to look at, what does the square root of 4 break down to? Now, the square root of 5 is not going to break down to anything. But since we found our game show number, we tried 1, we tried 2, we tried 3, we tried 4. Ding, 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 ding. The hot number is 4. So the square root of 4 times the square root of 5 is equal to the square root of 20. Okay. And since this comes from a perfect square, this actually reduces to a 2. All right. If I said simplify the square root of 4, you'd be like, oh, it's 2. So this is like saying 4 times 5, like we did. All right. So this actually breaks down to a 2. And our final answer is 2 root 5. Let me lean back. I'm getting in the way of my camera there. Okay. So the final answer to the square root of 20 is the square root of 2 root 5. Okay. Let's do another one. All right. Now, I know I was going to go on a path of word problems and do one, but if I get an email of someone that's actually, tuned in to the live stream or sent an email to the live stream event, then I'm going to address that. So I may or may not. We are 29 minutes into the live stream. This is a free 1-hour session, so I'll probably get to it. Now, let's do another one. Let's do something crazy like the square root of 175. Oh my God, I can't do that. Yes, you can. Okay. There's something particular about this number. When we get 150, 175, think about quarters. Okay, I think about quarters. And 25 is definitely a number that can be broken down. Okay, so we would basically work out our factors, and when we got to, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 quarters. Okay, all right, $1.75 is 7 quarters. So when you get things like 25, square root of 50, the square root of 75, the square root of 100 is 10. That's easy. The square root of 125, the square root of 150, the square root of 175, the square root of 225. These are very, very easy. Just think about how many quarters can make $2.25. So how many quarters can make $1.75? I already know that I'm going to come up with the square root of 25 times the square root of 7. But I want you to get used to the factoring process because you're not there yet where you can just pull them out. And you will with practice. So we have 1 times 175. 2 is an even number. 3 is not going to work. Because we go to the side and we say, can 3, 1, 7, 5, 5, 15, 25. 8 is the only thing that works, and then we would come up with a decimal, so that's not going to work. We want whole factors, so we don't want 2.2, 2.5, 2.3. That's not going to work. We want 2 whole numbers that could come up, we could come up with. That wouldn't work. This is not going to work. So basically, 5 could work, but the thing is that 5 doesn't break down. It's not a hot number. We want a hot number of 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, 64, 81, or 100. Whew, that was a lot. But we would come down to 4, 5, 6, and we would come up with 7 times 25. All right. Now, since this is the hot number, we always put it on the left because that's what's going to break down. So the square root of 25 times the square root of 7. And when we place these two together, mathematically, what that means is that that they're multiplied. Okay, so this breaks down to 5 root 7. And we don't say 5 square root 7 in mathematics. We say 5 just root, 5 root 7. Okay. Okay, we have some more people in the room. Please introduce yourselves if you don't mind. What fulfillment center you guys are from. You could put in, like I have in the thing, you could put EWR 7 word problems, EWR 9, I don't know. Any math concept, any science concept that you would like me to discuss, I will discuss it. Checking my email, and you can also send problems to kienothomas@gmail.com. Okay, Osvaldo, AFOQT. And Osvaldo, another thing, the military test prep. I will take questions here and now, but the military test prep hasn't even started. It's about 20 minutes until that starts. So, just for the sake of numbers coming in, I will accept questions from all my military aptitude test prep people. Because there are people in this group that may be preparing for the AFOQT or the ASVAB or whatever. So I welcome all math and science questions because it just gives viewers a chance to see me demonstrate problems, which is pretty cool. All right. For all you guys out there that don't know, the AFOQT is, and the ASVAB, which you may have heard of, the ASVAB is the Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Test Battery. In order to enter the military, you will have to take that test. And your job that you get is kind of based on how you score on this ASVAB. The ASVAB consists of general science, arithmetic reasoning, which is math, word knowledge, paragraph comprehension, math knowledge, electronics info, auto shop information, and mechanical comprehension. Osvaldo is preparing for the Armed Forces Officers Qualifying Test, which is the AFOQT. Now, straight out of high school going into the military, you would take the ASVAB. But if you go to college, you get a degree and you want to be a military officer, then you would have to take the AFOQT. And the Navy, Marine Corps, and Coast Guard, you would have to take the OAR, which is the Officer's Aptitude Rating. And then on the aviation side is the Aviation Selection Test Battery. The cool thing is I do the test preparation for all of them. Okay. So that's what's really, really cool about me. I guess, no, I don't want to pat myself on the back like that. That's what's really cool about me. That sounds a little arrogant. And I don't mean to be. Fire away some questions. Got a couple more people in the room here and waiting for questions. So I'll do another radical question in the meantime. And in between time. All right. Let's back up a little bit because I realize I'm blocking. I got like a little teleprompter thing and I'm like, oh, yeah. All right. So, okay. Pick a number. Somebody in the room, pick a number. What would you like to see me execute the square root of? Okay. Exponent questions. All right. I love active. I was going to do another square root, but we're going to do exponents. One key thing that I want you to know about exponents, there's a little math trick that I teach my clients. Let's say we have 15 squared, 25 squared, 45 squared, 55 squared, 65 squared. Now, if you know about something, there's something called consecutive numbers. Consecutive numbers means one after the other. So if we count consecutively when we are in kindergarten. 1, 2, when you see each other, okay, what are your numbers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's one after the other. So when we have a exponent or an exponent question like this, we look at the first number, and I've underlined them in red. The last two digits of each one of these answers is going to be 25 because the 5 is there. Okay, you can test it out if you don't believe me. 25. Oh, 2. Reading is fundamental, Kieno. All right, 25. So automatically, in a multiple choice question, all right, if you had these, all you got to do is look for the answer with the 25 on the end. You're done. You don't even have to compute anymore. And like I said, I prepare people for rapid math, rapid execution. All right, so you can score as many points as possible. So in each one of these, when we simplify these or solve these, the last two digits in all of them are going to be 25. Now, I talked about consecutive numbers, and I underline these for a reason. You multiply these numbers by the next consecutive number, which means the next one counting. All right. So 1 times 2. 2 is the next consecutive number because 1 is after 2. All right. 1 times 2 is 2. Answer to 15 squared is 225. 2, next consecutive number is 3. 2 times 3 is 6. Boom, done. 4 times 5 is 20, 2025. 5 times 6 is 30. 3025, and finally 6 times 7 is 42, and the answer is 4,225. Okay, so that is an exponent question. Another one is sometimes, and this is DVRable, so if you didn't get it, this will be in my video playlist. All right, so okay, Avery, send me a picture, a photo, straight ways up. Avery, she sends me pictures like sideways, man. I get the email, I'll be like, huh? I'm only messing with you, Avery. Don't yell at me when you talk to me. You Skype with me. I can't believe you said that. I'm just having fun. All right. Love math. Okay. Another scary type of question, and sometimes we get exponents, right? Okay. Sometimes we get these crazy questions, and they'll be like, solve, and I'll explain. You'll get something like, your teacher, your professor may give you a question like this, like a to the third power, b to the -2, c to the fourth, over d to the 10th, e to the -7th, and f squared. Okay. And anybody that's been tutoring with me, they know my execution method with this. Okay. I want you, when you see questions like this, and all the bases are different. Okay. So there's a method for doing this. All right. So this is my method. I call it the upstairs, downstairs method. All right. So I'll just put upstairs, up and down. All right. So these are going to either wind up upstairs or downstairs. And you know what? It depends on their attitude. Now, why the hell did I say attitude? Because the attitude is the exponent. A to the third, that's a positive exponent. B to the second, that is a negative exponent. C to the fourth power, positive. D to the 10th, positive. E to the -7th is positive. And F to the second is positive. Well, E is negative. I don't know if I said positive by accident because I was in the flow positive. But E to the -7 is negative. The exponent is negative. So think of the base, which is A, B, C. That's just the bottom. It's not a scary word. It's the base. The number up top is the exponent. All right. So the base is the kid. All right. The child. Okay. And either the child has a good or a bad attitude. And if the child has a bad attitude, then it has to go downstairs if it's upstairs. And if it's downstairs, it has to go upstairs. And if it's upstairs, it has to go downstairs. Okay. So, A, does it have a good or a bad attitude? A to the third, it's a positive exponent. A to the third stays upstairs because it has a good attitude. B is bad. He's a -2. So he must go downstairs and change his attitude. So B to the negative goes downstairs and becomes B to the second. C stays upstairs. D stays downstairs because it's positive. E is downstairs with a negative attitude, so it must go upstairs and become a 7. And then F stays downstairs because it's positive. So although that looks scary in the beginning, it's really not that bad. Once you get somebody to explain it to you, like a tutor, then it all makes sense. Okay? So when you see something crazy like this, all right, it's very, very, very easy to execute when you know what you're doing. Okay, so just looking, checking my email. All right, checking the message board. All right. Okay. All right. Now, another thing about exponents. That was like kind of one of the advanced questions, and I did that one for Avery. Let's go with some more basic exponent questions that you might see. You may see a question like, I don't know, B to the third, let me give you something good, times B to the fourth. All right. This is called the product. When we talk about product, we're talking about multiplication. So the bases are being the similar base, and they're being multiplied with each other. Okay, this is called the product rule of exponents. And we look at this like B 3 plus 4, which would equal B to the 7th. All right. So when you see that, this is the product rule. All we do is we add the exponents when the bases are the same. All right. Now, let's look at another scenario. Sometimes we might get something that we call a power of a power rule. This is when they give you a strange question like this, like x to the third in parentheses, and then they put a 2 on the outside. Now, in this case, what happens is the 3 and the 2 are going to be multiplied, and this is going to wind up being x to the 6th power. Okay. So all you do is multiply the inside exponent, however you want to look at it, 3 times 2 or 2 times 3, you're still going to get 6. So x to the 6th. And then we have the quotient rule. Now, this is when you would have x to the 6th over x to the 4th. Well, the way that we look at this mathematically is x is 6 minus 4. All right. And then that winds up becoming x squared, because 6 minus 4 is 2. So the exponent results in 2. Now, you have to be very, very careful, because you may come into a situation where you might have 6 and they may give you a negative exponent on the bottom. You have to be careful, because this would represent x. 6 minus the 2 would have to go in parentheses. Okay, because the rule is, and when they write their rules, they'll do this. They'll be like x, b, a, and this equals x, a minus b. All right, and don't let all that gibberish fool you. The only thing that you have to understand is these are going to be their own separate kind of containers. We don't need to put parentheses around the a, but we definitely would need to put the b in parentheses if there was a negative number. Okay, so when we have 6 minus negative 2, then we have to do something called distributing. We have to distribute that negative number as if we were multiplying. All right, and so a negative and a negative, and I'll just write here, negative times a negative equals positive. A positive times a positive equals a positive, and a positive times a negative equals a negative. All right, so we have negative, negative, and it's going to result in a positive number. So this winds up becoming x to the 8th power. Okay. Don't let these variables fool you. These are just kind of like we could place whole numbers in them. It's an unknown number. It could be a 1. It could be a 1,000. Don't let that get scary to you. And the thing is if you keep coming to the live streams, bring in your homework, you're going to get better. That's the only way you're going to get good at math, is by doing math. So, to all Amazonians out there and everything, I'm pretty sure you have kids. Somebody has kids. They could be having problems. Come to the free live stream. That's all. All right. You as an Amazonian are it's offered for you. It's offered for your kids. If you're in school, haven't done math in a while, you can use this live stream. And what else was I going to say? Or if your kids are having problems, okay, stay on top of them. Don't let them fail. So this is no reason. 8 to 9 every Friday. Tutoring Amazonians free live stream. Okay. Let's check the email. All right. So I went over the product rule. I went over the quotient, power of a power. Oh, yeah. Okay. I would be remiss if I didn't talk about any number. If we take a number 2 to the 0 power, or if they gave you a question b to the 0 power, or 1,000 to the 0 power, each and every one of these answers is 1. If you raise anything to the 0 power, the resultant is going to be 1. It's going to be 1. That's it. So whether they give you a variable, b to the 0 power, it's going to be 1. 2 to the 0 power is going to be equal to 1. And 1,000 to the 0 power is going to equal to 1. So no matter what number you have, raised to the 0 power is going to equal 1. And then finally, to close on exponents, you can never, ever, you can never have a negative exponent when you're simplifying. When you simplify exponents, it's got to result in a positive number. Now, we're going to think about the upstairs, downstairs. Now, let's say you came up with an answer and it was -2 for some reason, for whatever reason. What you have to understand is that this variable represents a whole number. So whether it was 1, 2, or 3, in a sense, it's a fraction. Okay, so this is actually 1 over 1. This is 2 over 1. This is 3 over 1. So we still have our upstairs, downstairs concept. All right. The only thing is this flips. So x is going to go downstairs, 1 goes upstairs, and it changes its attitude. All right. So the negative x on top becomes, we realize that this is a whole number, and we do what we do with whole numbers, and x has a bad attitude, must go downstairs and change its attitude. All right. So, okay. So, I'm going to close right there. I did get some emails from some Amazonians, and just want to talk to you guys for a minute. You don't mind if we talk to you? All right. All right. So, like I said, this channel. I'm sorry. Let me move in. This channel is for Amazonians. Okay. If you're in the career choice program, haven't done math in a long time. Math and science. If you're having issues with anatomy, I understand that people are in what is it? The nurses aid programs, RN programs, and stuff like that. We can discuss anatomy, body systems, the lingo, medical terms, and things of that nature. Supine, superior, anterior, palpating. I'm familiar with that stuff. So here is a resource, and I am going to be here every week. And again, in the future, if you go to stemwithkieno.com, on the landing page, you just scroll down to the YouTube icon, and you double click the YouTube icon, and then you will see a box, and it will say live now. And you basically click on it, and it brings you to me for Amazonians, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. every Friday. All right. So there is no reason why you should be struggling with math and science subjects, because I will be here every week. And so I thank all the people. Well, thumbs up if you like the video, or if you like this session. Please give me a thumbs up. I'd appreciate if you could do that. Even if you watch this afterwards, please give me a thumbs up. What else did I want to cover? Okay. I have about 7 minutes to my next live stream. And all Amazonians are welcome to attend if you are preparing for the aviation. Well, let me start from the bottom. ASVAB, the Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery. I have my chart up there, all the tests that I prepped for. The Aviation Selection Test Battery, the OAR, the AFOQT, and the United States Army SIFT. All right. So, if you guys are Amazonians and you guys are preparing, then the next video will be for you as well. So, I guess that's really about it. I really, really appreciate everybody that sent emails. I will be here every week. If you're an Amazonian, you're having problems, it's free. Doesn't cost you a dime. Just come out. Now, if you need one-on-one tutoring, then that's another story. But just to come out to the forum, see problems being executed. I don't understand exponents. Well, you can come here. I don't understand fractions. You can come here. I don't understand word problems. You can come here. It's okay, Viper. The military aptitude test prep session and FAA will be starting in like about 5-6 minutes. I may be 9:05 or so. It may start because it's 8:56 right now, and I'm closing out this live stream. So, all the Amazonians, stay strong, study hard. Definitely if you're in a career choice program, and if you have any math, science questions, CDL questions as well, come on in if you have issues or problems about the CDL. And I can actually, this is me. I'm going to cover up my address and all that. But hey, the green band across the top is a CDL. Okay, commercial driver's license. So I am familiar with the process. I am familiar with things that you have to deal with, like logbooks and scales and things of that nature. So, man, this is a one-stop shop. Okay, so thanks for clicking on the play button or the Live Now icon, and I will see you Amazonians next week, 8 to 9. Thanks for watching. It was very blurry, but okay, yeah, the colors. Yeah, because, you know, I don't want nobody showing up. Yo, Kieno. I'd be like, yo, what are you doing here? You know what I'm saying? So, have a great evening. I'll talk to you later. Over and out. Peace. And bang.